So Shannon, welcome to the Coventry Music Museum, and get ready for it. Welcome, Everett Morton. Yeah!
No, I'm doing the video.
If I sit on the floor.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Neville's not in the hot seat today. You've got that pleasure. So lots of interesting questions. Nothing too bad.
I'm just wondering about him sleeping like that because he's got a bad
The first question is always the same. How did you get into music in the first place?
I was encouraged into music by my cousin. I wanted to
Len, perhaps you should sit down because you're like...
Right, so you were learning the bass?
No, I wanted to do that, but he told me to go and play the drums, so I just listened to him and I went and did it.
Right.
Yeah.
So why did he say that when you were...
Because they had a bass player.
Right, okay, I see. So that was probably the reason that, that worked better for him. Can I sit there? Yeah, of course you can, I think. There's 2 seats there. We're still rocking and rolling. So
that's your glasses.
So first real band?
First real band, yes.
So how did that come about?
I was introduced to the band by an old girlfriend of mine. Yeah, they wanted a drummer, and they just...
And which band was this? We're not talking about the beat yet, are we?
Well, that was the first real band.
Oh, right. Yeah.
the rest of them was just practicing.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit, before we get into the beat, because obviously we've got a lot of stuff about that.
Yeah.
But a little bit about why the drums. Why did you... I mean, obviously, like, we're talking about bass guitar, but you must have had some sort of fascination.
But no, I didn't. I didn't have no fascination about the drums at all. I just was told to go and do it, and I listened to something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I worked with the band for 6 years, just doing the drums and everything, like, work with saxo, and he encouraged me to do a lot of things. So I worked with saxo for so many years that, still talk to saxo now.
Yeah.
When I feel a bit down, I'm falling off, and he would encourage me to keep on going.
Keep rocking,
yeah.
So the band's got together, and you're doing your stuff over there in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And there's a band doing their stuff, the North London Invaders, down in London, who became Madness, of course.
Yeah.
And of course there's a two-tone, or Coventry Automatics, starting to do stuff over in Coventry. So when were you aware that somebody else was doing stuff like that?
Well, when I was in the factory and had to go in at 6 o'clock, work from 6 to 6, and then do gigs and still go to work.
Yeah.
And then we finally had a chance to support Selector. Yeah. And so that's how I knew that there was a Coventry outfit doing the same thing as what we were trying to do.
So what was that like when you discovered that there's these people in Coventry? Because I know that the Madness guys were pretty sick about it. They thought they were doing something original, and then they went to see this band called the Specials who played their first gig in London, and it was like, what? So obviously there wasn't that eureka moment.
I had no ego about it. I was just like glad that it's like it was a unit, like one here, one there, and one there, like one in London, one in Coventry, one in Birmingham, And so I just think nothing about it. I just got onto the train. That's what it was. It's just like everyone trying to get into this moving train,
So what was it like, the spirit in the band at that time? Obviously Dave and everybody was
the spirit was good. Honestly, we was like a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saxo was in there, was like a father figure to all of us.
Yeah. Did he help a lot?
Oh, he did help a lot. But when we got him, like he said, this is his band, we'd never leave it. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
Where's the turning air conditioner?
Apparently. We've got all the windows open and the fans on, but it is a particularly hot day. Sorry about that, and I'm pretty uncomfortable as well. So anyway, we'll move on. So we talked about the Specials. We talk about the beats.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you first got that single out, Tears of a Clown? How was that?
I was surprised, I was shocked to see that, because I was sitting in my house watching the television and seeing Top of the Pops. And I didn't want to, I had nothing to like or want to be there, but it just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing I was on top of the pops.
So you had no great ambition to be a successful
I had no
musician?
great ambition at all. I just wanted to play music.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
So
Very lucky everything was.
it's just very matter of fact about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right, okay. There's talk that that particular single, and Ranking Full Stop and Tears of a Clown, was supposed to be recorded at Verizon Studio. He came over to do it, but he didn't like the sound.
Okay, well, I mean, I had nothing to do with that. You know, I just
But do you remember that incident? Was
No,
that, was that
no, I don't remember it.
apparently that?
I can't remember it.
According to I think Roger Lomax, he reckons he came over and he didn't want to particularly sound like the other bands specials
Okay,
and
yeah,
select.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was different from the other bands.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, like we got put into this thing like ska. I don't think we was.
So what do you think you were?
I think it was punky reggae.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what it was. You know, it was a punk.
Yeah.
You know, I was a
So you're more reggae than ska?
Yeah, more
Yeah.
reggae than ska, yes. But we just got put into this thing like ska.
Did that bother you?
No, it didn't bother me at all. We just.
Well, it sounded like you were pretty laid back about the whole thing. You just went along.
I'm just went along with the flow.
Well, absolutely, yeah. All right. But many say that the sound of the beat, well, basically you put the beat in the beat,
Yeah.
which you do, but that's a distinctive sound, and that was down to you.
Yeah, I think
You'd agree with that?
Yeah, it was down to me. I mean, I try not to think I am the beat, but I've got to admit it. I am the beat.
Absolutely. We're moving on these questions quite quickly.
Yeah.
And by the way, as you know, most of you, the ones that have been here before, I do ask questions that open it out to you guys, so you can ask a question. So start thinking of something now, because I don't want blank faces when I say somebody from the audience, and they all sit there looking at me. So have a think now, what question, and I apologise in advance if I do actually ask it myself. But let's see, let's carry on. So the bands are huge, we've talked about that. Did you ever feel, when you got to that point, and you're probably going to say, well, I just went with the flow, but did you ever feel there was a time when it started getting out of control, that the band weren't necessarily in the driving seat?
Well, I mean, I think it was getting out of control when we came back from America, and we supported David Bowie at Milton Keynes.
I was at that gig.
You was there?
Yeah, I was there, yeah.
But I mean, you wasn't backstage, so.
No, I wasn't, not in those days. No, what Me and David.
The journey from there to Birmingham, like, you could see things was going a bit strange, like, you know. You could see this is the end.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know, that's what the feeling I got.
Dare I ask why you felt that way? It was
It's
just arguments falling apart?
There wasn't a sort of argument, it's just a communication between everybody. Like you can see, there's a split between 2 wants to go that way, and 3 wanted to go this way.
Right,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
You can see where that was going.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
of course,
You can tell.
in hindsight, we know. But what about, talking about gigs, what about best gigs? What were the favourite gigs for you?
Well, the best gig for me was the Bus Festival. Yeah, because I mean, I had to get in a helicopter to go to the stage.
Oh, that's rock and roll.
Yeah, that's when I noticed it was rock and roll, you know.
Well, is there only one
I mean,
podium?
first time in a helicopter, like, you know, and, you know, I was a bit scared because you just a glass around it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know the feeling. I've been in one of those boys. Not very nice. Favourite beat song?
Favourite.
Somebody was going to ask that, wasn't he?
Yeah. Let me ask that. Yeah, see, you got in there. But the favourite beat song, I like Jackpot. Yeah.
Right.
That's maybe, but that's the pioneer song. But I love Jackpot. Yeah.
Any others?
Me, I think Too Nice to Talk To.
I mean, Save It For Later was a massive song and it's been covered by
a big
everybody.
song, yes.
But you obviously like that one as well.
But yeah, I do like all of them because I mean I'm still playing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I can't play anything else, I'm still playing them.
We'll come to that one in a minute. So, here we are, there's the question. Why did the beat, and we're talking about the original beat, why did they split?
Why did they split?
I know you've sort of touched upon that.
Yeah, it's not